Today is Trinity Sunday, and the Trinity is such a forbidding conversation that we seldom reflect on the presence and the power of a Trinity God. It seems like something very distant from us, and I would like to suggest in these homiletic reflections that in fact it's very intimate and very present to us in everyday life. Not to solve the mystery, because mysteries are not to be solved, but mysteries are to be shared. Mysteries are moments of enlightenment. We're awed, we're silent, but we may be enlightened in the presence of mystery. And therefore, I'd like to reflect on the Trinity in terms of connecting with the mystery, finding a meaning and a teaching in the presence of the mystery of the Trinity in our daily living. As we know, the Trinity is our statement that three persons are one God, because there is perfect unity and there is a perfect love in the communion of the Trinity, that God is relationship. And this is expressed in an imperfect way in all of creation. We'll find it in our own human experience, that somehow progress and anything creative happens only in unity, in the presence of love. Even in the human context, it's unity which leads us toward progress. And therefore, war, aggression, greed, neglect, these are all offenses against the presence of the Trinity God in all people and in all creation. For there is a pervasive energy moving through all of creation and through every one of us. A yearning for unity, a yearning for a profound experience of embrace and of belonging, so that somehow we fulfill our destiny as creative persons. We experience the Trinity God. You'll find this in your own journey of life. The controlling person can never be at peace, because the controlling person is a divided person. You'll find it in your own experience that the most profound moments of growth and ecstasy in your life will come out of an experience of unity in relationship, in love. And also the greatest pain, the greatest struggle in your life will be born out of a division, which is a division of the presence of the Trinity God in me. So we'll find this presence of God far, far closer to us than we might first believe. In 1964, when I was just ordained, we were in the afterglow of the Vatican Council. It was a time of change. Sometimes the change happened too quickly and unsettled many people, but it was also a time of risk. It was a time of new thinking, new possibilities. I was ready for change. I was just 24 years old, and I decided that I would go to a summer course at Immaculate Heart College. Now that was important, because in those days the Immaculate Heart Sisters were caught in a huge contest with Cardinal MacIntyre, and therefore they were kind of considered imaginative, fringe people. That attracted me when I was 24. Besides, the summer course was on the phenomenon of man. The most important book by Teilhard de Chardin, a Jesuit paleontologist. Paleontology meaning the science of discovering the origins of the universe to try to put a soul in evolution. This was the discipline of Teilhard de Chardin. And what was more attractive about it is that this book, The Phenomenon of Man, was condemned by the Vatican. Well, then I really had to go and learn more about it. So I went. Here's a curious thing about it, however. Just 2 years ago, Pope Benedict quoted de Chardin in one of his writings about liturgy, which means he was reconciled. Yet he died in 1955 without being academically reconciled with the church. So Pope Benedict, a little bit too late and a little bit too small in terms of an experience of reconciling de Chardin. In studying this summer course, it was my first introduction to Empédocles. This Empédocles, he was a Greek philosopher that predated the sequence of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. He informed them. He is the one who is credited with first proposing that the 4 basic elements in all of creation are earth, air, fire, and water. Not only that, but he also was the first to say that the energy which animates these 4 basic elements are love and strife. A tension between love and strife becomes the point of creation in these 4 basic elements of all of creation. Now that sounds very distant, but I began to reflect on that. When I was young in Ireland, I spoke fluent Gaelic. I was a Gaelic speaker. When I went to elementary school, all my schooling was all in Gaelic. When you study the Gaelic language, there is no word for hello or goodbye. Hello in Gaelic is diagud, which means God be with you. And the answer is Dia Ismiragud, which is God and Mary be with you. And for goodbye, it's Dia Gonya de tu, which is God keep you. Wherever you go, God keep you. There was this sense of God's presence in all things. When I was young, speaking of Father's Day, my favorite place to go for vacation was a little island off the southwest coast of Ireland called Bear Island, small island, 7 miles by 3. A very small population. A life totally simple. I mean, when I was young, no TV, there was nothing, no radios, nothing, just wonderful people. No police on the island, no need to police this island. The folks, they were a community. But they had this sense of God's presence. They didn't have very much to live on, but they had a lot to live for. This sense of God's presence in the wind, in the air, in the seasons, God's presence in the storms, God's presence in life, death, and resurrection. Always the presence of a creating Trinity God. It's not without meaning that the symbol of Ireland became the shamrock, which was meant to be the symbol of the Trinity. It could have been the harp, but it became the shamrock, because there was this sense of the Trinity creating God present in all things. No matter what happened in life, it was somehow part of God's mysterious creative presence. I remember that. And then I began to think about de Chardin. This was his. The soul present in all things reveals the Trinity God. I began to think about this Greek thinking that God is present in everything, in everything. That was this sense of a very simple, primitive people on the island where I loved to go as a child. So when the next time you look in the face of a child, look carefully and see the presence of a creating God. And the next time you look at a flower which is blooming, and you see a dynamic presence of a living God, of a Trinity God, the unity, the sense of harmony. Listen to the symphony, be embraced by music, an expression of the Trinity, the unity, the love, the presence of a Trinity God. When you look back on Father's Day and you consider the people who blessed you, imperfectly, but those who blessed you, those who gave you energy, those who gave you hope, the presence of a creating Trinity God in an imperfect way, but very real. In the Zen tradition, they have this mantra that when you look at a tree, if you see only a tree, you haven't seen. But if when you look at a tree, you see God's creation, only then have you seen. And when you hear the bird sing, if you only hear a bird sing, you haven't heard. But if, when you hear the bird sing, you hear the voice of God, only then have you heard. Touch, feel, connect with the pervasive, life-giving presence of the Trinity God in every moment in your life. Be conscious of discipleship in Jesus Christ, which calls us to be persons of unity, persons of life, persons who will witness the wonder, the beauty of a creating God, a Trinity God, not distant, but ever, ever present to us. So let this day, Father's Day, as we celebrate the Trinity, become a day when I listen to the stories of my life. Listen to the light and the darkness. Listen to the moments that shaped you and formed you and brought you to who you are today, and sense a divine providence, a shaping, a wonder of God's presence. Imperfect, but the imperfect revelation of the perfection of the Trinity. There's wonder and there's beauty all around us, but we have to connect with the presence of the creative Trinity. So listen to this anthem. It's a prayer about my Father, your Father, but it's much more. Embrace this as a blessing for everyone in your life who touched you, who loved you, whom you should remember with gratitude today. The tears have all been shed now. We've said our last goodbye. His soul's been blessed, he's laid to rest, and I feel all alone. He was more than just my father, my teacher, my best friend, and he'll still be heard in the tunes we've shared when I play them on my own. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on. I miss him, the old man. As a boy, he'd take me walking by mountain, field, and stream, and show me things not known to kings, secrets between him and me, like the colors of a pheasant as she rises in the morn, or how to fish or make a wish beside the fairy tree. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on. I miss him, the old man. I thought he'd live forever. He looked so big and strong, but the minutes fly and the years roll by for a father and a son. And suddenly when it happened, there was so much left unsaid, no second chance for words of thanks for all the things he'd done. And I never will forget him, for he made me what I am. Though he may be gone, memories linger on. I miss him, the old man. God, I miss him, the old man. Amen. The other one. It's a blessing.